Yeah, so this one's a gasket mount. So if you press down, yeah.
You see him just unironically pog? That's crazy.
Yeah, this one's expensive.
Oh.
So it's a bit of a different experience.
Yeah.
This is not okay.
All right. Are you ready? How you feeling?
I'm good.
Good? All right.
I got my note cards.
You do- I got my notepads.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome everybody to Uneducation Station. I'm Anuki. I have Zach with me, of course. And today we finally have another guest. It was pretty quick. I think we recorded with Christian last time, but today we have my good friend Brady, or Rogue Potato.
Hello.
Do you still have Rogue, or are you just Potato, or are you just Brady?
I just changed it to Brady.
You did
I
just
thought
change it to
simpler.
Brady. You know what I mean? You know, sometimes the name just kind of works the best. Hopefully there's not too many Bradys.
There's not that many. I think I've only ever met like one.
You know, I've only met 2 other than you, so you're right. Or not a lot of Bradys in Vancouver, so that'll do it.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. I am on summer break from college, so
Good.
I'm just.
How many more years you got?
This is my last year.
Whoo, baby. Like coming up?
Yeah, so I graduate in the spring. Yeah.
Congrats. Early congrats. You got a long road ahead, but hopefully this can be a chill session to think about things, maybe rant about things. Feel free to rant about school.
Oh, okay.
You
All
know,
right.
You know, we unironic or unintentionally, we ended up doing that last time we had a guest. You just can naturally, as the 20-year-olds we are, we just start talking about how much we hate school. So, you know.
Yeah. All right.
You know, you're on the couch. Feel free to call this a therapy session with the boys, you know? I don't know if that makes it less chill, but...
I mean, the therapy couch is a little bit...
What do you want me to
better
call
than-
it, the casting couch?
Well, I was going to say it's better than the casting couch.
You think? I think the casting couch has some therapy in it itself, you know, if you know what I'm catch my drift. Did you see the video? There was a guy who was like, it was also on the PH, and he was like disinfecting the casting couch. It was a great video, and it was very unironic.
I can't imagine that being my job.
Well, it was kind of a gag because it was like his entire channel is just him like cleaning the bed or you know what I mean?
Washing the sheets.
Watching the sheet, you know, the mundane things that you don't think about.
Oh yeah, he's
mopping
like,
the WAP floor.
he's like a Christian dad or whatever. And he's like,
Yeah. And then there's some where he's like interviewing some of them and they're just like, they're like, you know, looking all bad and sexy and stuff. And he's just like, yeah, how are you?
What did you have for breakfast
And
this
they have
morning?
an unironic conversation. It's a great video. I recommend watching it. Just to watch it. You have a problem with my video recommendations, Zach? I know Brady will watch it.
yeah, sure. I think
yeah.
I've already seen it.
Good. So for anybody who may not know you, how would you describe yourself in 5 words? You can do more than 5 words.
Oh my gosh, 5 words. I don't know. It's kind of hard to like just like put out who you are. I'm just a student.
I don't know, man.
Trying
You
my
dropped
best.
the Mr.
Trying my
Suit and
best.
got like a bunch of views on a sound test. So
Oh, that's true. That's just because it's the Mr. Suit. You can put down any video with Mr. Suit.
I remember you told me like, hey, I'm gonna put a sound test. That's cool. And I saw like I just uploaded it at like 100 views. Like, oh, nice. And I checked back in, it was like a couple thousand views or something.
Oh yeah, I have sound tests for both these boards that I brought. And it's like 10K views total.
Yeah,
just
I'm
out of
like,
nowhere.
what the hell?
Most low effort shit ever.
Well, those are the nicest ones because sometimes people just want to hear the sound test. You know, they don't
Yeah,
want the whole video. I mean, you know, as someone who creates content, that makes me a little sad. But at the same time, you know, that's kind of how it is sometimes.
Yeah,
At least for,
literally.
you know.
I had like a Logitech C920 for the top down.
Yeah.
And just lowest effort thing. I hit record, 1 go, 1 minute video is like a 10-minute thing.
You know,
So.
and then some people were like, you know, that's what I'm gonna do. You made of the 10 or so thousand people that you made that watched that sound test, a good percentage of it has the exact same build as you. Think about that.
Maybe. Well, probably not as high as you think. There's only a couple thousand suits.
I guess you're
floating
right.
around, so.
Well, I guess that's a good segue to what kind of hobbies you have, which is keyboard building.
Yeah, I do keyboards.
When did you start?
Quarantine. It was a quarantine hobby for me.
Yeah.
So I was like, my finals got canceled. So I was in school when it hit, and Seattle was one of the first places hit.
Right.
So I had like the end of winter quarter 2020 just canceled.
Mhm.
So finals were straight up canceled. It was crazy. I think my professor had it. He was one of the first people in Washington State to get COVID.
Oh gosh,
Whoa.
that's scary.
That's gnarly.
I know
Yeah,
when
yeah.
I had like when that happened, like really when it happened, I was also in classes. Our finals didn't get canceled though, because, well, at least my classes, they were like a part of my program at that point. So it was like digital things. So we could just do it online anyways. But you know, it's all good. But the classes were fun though. So it's okay. It's all good. It was a fun final. It was, you know, cause I got to actually work on a project that I wanted to do instead of, you know, geology papers, you know?
Geology?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go. Digital arts major. You got to take geology, of course.
I have to take geology too.
Let's
so.
go.
You know,
I never turned that paper and I failed that class.
Oops. You know, it's kind of interesting because I actually started school after COVID started. So I went to a veterinary assistant program, and I was there for a year. But it started in September of 2020.
Mhm.
So we were already in the thick of COVID
Right.
by the time I had started that class. And so it was like half online and then half
Mhm.
like in class. And so it was super bizarre just sitting there like with a mask on, with the seats all separated. I just felt like I was like about to get a disease.
Yeah. Oh no, all of my classes were canceled except one class. And this is weird because I take night classes because I'm a psychopath. So that means I just have one class that are like 3-4 hour sessions a week, right? Well, for those classes, 2 of them got canceled. One didn't, except he was kind of back and forth. He also, well, he didn't get COVID. He got cancer. So, but it's all good. You know, he's just doing the treatment and he's fine. He's well and he's good. So, but what was happening was he was just going back and forth and he had to basically quarantine because this is early COVID. Like, okay, well, what's going to happen? Right. So he was in hotels quarantining and doing all that stuff and coming into classes every now and then. Sometimes he'd just not be there, or sometimes he would just kind of be like in a Skype call almost in the classroom. But it was super cool because he's a cool guy and it was a great class. Everybody wanted to be there. So it was like one of those classes. So everybody was there. We were just kind of doing our own thing. And then after 3 hours or so, he's like, all right, you guys are good to go. Someone turn off my computer. Someone end the call really quick or something like that. It was very wholesome. But yeah, weird experiences back then. But all right, so what got you in? What was the sound test that got you into keyboards? Was it the one that we all know?
Not really.
No, not that.
So when I got into keyboards, I was just like, I had tons of time because school canceled,
Right.
and I didn't end up taking classes spring quarter because I was in the middle of transferring schools. So a lot of stuff just happened right there, and I was like, you know, I've got this crappy Razer keyboard, not even mechanical. I was like, why don't I just get like an actual mechanical keyboard?
Right.
And I bought a drop control, which
Oh.
you should not do.
Hey, now we just lost our drop sponsor. I'm just kidding.
Speaking of
we got
which-
affiliate links in the description. No, so you got a drop control. That's and the pre-built one. So you didn't build this.
Well, you just installed switches and
Oh,
keycaps,
so you did get the
but
bare bones.
Yeah. In stock options were kind of weird back then in that there were like none. So it was
Right.
KBD fans or drop, and that was it.
Yeah.
So not like it is now, where there's all kinds of stuff.
No, for sure. Even before I got into keyboards, that's all I knew was KBD fans and drop. Like that was it. Maybe it's just like a GK61 on AliExpress, but other than that, or Amazon, but other than that, yeah, that was it. Before I even knew what I was looking at, you know, I was looking at all they had in stock, and it was just like, oh, everybody wanted the sushi keycaps, and everybody wanted all the Japanese sub legends, and it was cool. But no, that's so weird. It was only a couple years ago. A lot has changed since then.
Yeah.
A lot has changed. So at what point did you decide to splurge on something much more expensive? Maybe not those exactly, but something else.
I just kind of over time, like, so since I've been doing this since 2020, it's like,
Right.
you know, over 2 years.
Mhm.
I just kind of slowly started trying out stuff. I got it started like I got new switches for like the hot swap keyboard, and I was like, oh, this is cool. I can change the way the keyboard feels, just, you know, relatively cheaply.
Yeah. For
But-
those who don't know, how would you, for hot swap keyboards versus a soldered keyboard?
Oh, yes. You can just pop out the mechanical switches under each key and completely change the way the keyboard feels. And it's simple as that. No soldering required, really. So
A lot of keyboards that I suppose most of us growing up know, they're most likely soldered. Maybe some hot swap these days, actually. A lot of the gamer keyboards do happen to be hot swap, but most of the time they're soldered. Can't swap it out. But I think, let's see, one of my first mechanical keyboards was my first mechanical keyboard I ever bought was hot swap, which is a Techwear Phantom. Are you aware of it? It's just like a $50 mechanical keyboard with Otemu switches. You know?
All right,
yeah.
Oh, the
yeah.
Otemu hot swap
We love the
sockets.
Otemu
Oh,
hot
man.
swap
All
socket.
right.
What did I do? I gave it to Zach. And we popped some Akko switches, and now this is what he uses.
All right.
Yeah, and we did it on this on the podcast. We just had like a 2-hour, 3-hour session.
That was the longest episode to date.
Is
that
it
we've
really?
Done. Yeah.
I thought it would. Is it not the Jamie episode?
So
Oh wait, no. I guess the Bunny Girl Senpai episode.
So we cut the keyboard episode down actually
That's right, I did.
because it was like 3.5 hours, and then the Jamie episode was right around 3 hours,
Mhm.
and I think the Bunny Girl Senpai episode was like
250,
250 or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, it was because we were lubing the switches too. I was thinking about it because the Akko switches, they come in 45. I lubed one box and I was like, all right, Zach, let's double team this. So I taught him how to build a keyboard as we went. It was a good time. It was great.
All right, cool,
yeah,
cool.
and honestly, it sounded not bad. Literally at that time, I had only built my GK61. So having to mod that keyboard taught me a lot about how much I hate cheap gaming keyboards, but also how good you can make them sound. So
Yeah, I think that like taking a super cheap keyboard and making it sound good is like the essence of the hobby.
yeah, I think a lot of people are going to start like that. They're going to get their Royal Kledges or whatever, and they're going to open it up and put tape on it.
You'd be like, I can put some tape in there.
Just recently, I did that exact same thing. Someone asked me, hey, came up to me, hey, I'm looking for keyboards. Like, oh, cool. Yeah, like a pre-built gaming keyboard or something. I can probably help out with that or something. Yeah. And he links me some HyperX keyboards and some Razer keyboards. I'm like, all right. I'm gonna level with you here. All right. Apart from maybe software, right? Sure. Maybe customer support, things like that. These are going to be no different than like an RK68 or an RK61, which is one of the cheapest 60-65% keyboards you can get on Amazon. And they're much to be desired, but you'll find a striking similarity to keyboards alike,
What's interesting is that I never really understood a lot about keyboards before I started building
Mhm.
the keyboard with you and like talking to you about all that kind of stuff. But my buddy Ben,
Mhm.
he started building keyboards like years prior. And, he was sitting there telling me about all this really cool stuff that he was getting into, and like how he had like a keyboard with linear switches and tactile switches, and how he was like, oh yeah, it makes such a huge difference, like linear switches are like the greatest thing to ever exist. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, bro. And then we built my keyboard that I have now, which has linear switches in it, and I typed on a keyboard that had tactile switches, and I have never felt such a weird way about like a keyboard,
for sure.
just because it's so different going from linear to tactile or tactile to linear. It's
Well,
like,
even then, I know the keyboard you had before was my keyboard, which was my clicky Logitech keyboard, full size. Yeah, classic, and it was great, honestly, for like a month.
until I was being a streamer boy, and like, so I started streaming during quarantine, and I had a really crappy $30 toner mic with it was just like the absolute bare minimum.
Yeah, the $20, $30 mic kits that you could find on Amazon, because Jeff Bezos has everything.
That's right.
That's right.
Jeffrey Bezos.
You're gonna find GMK sets in stock on Jeffrey Bezos' website at some point. All right,
They already are.
they already kind of are. Yeah.
Drop puts their sets on Amazon for
They
like
do.
$20 extra.
Yeah.
So I had the Logitech keyboard that had, what was it?
Clicky blue switches.
Clicky gross blue
Whatever their
switches.
switches are called.
I don't know. But basically, I had the mic, like this far away. The keyboard was in between my face and the microphone. And so like 95% of that footage was just clicky keyboard sounds.
Mhm.
And I've never been more disappointed in myself than the life choices that I made.
I think the streaming boom in the quarantine, that also helped with people wanting to get new keyboards, because they realized that they probably shouldn't be streaming with their clicky keyboards. You know?
Yeah, keyboards exploded.
I think that definitely helped with it. Also, just kind of, working from home. want to upgrade this setup. Well, if you were for similar reasons, why do you think that the keyboard community like exploded the way it did? Why do you think there's more places to shop at than just Drop and KBD fans for that matter?
I think a big part of it was probably just more people at home. Same reason why everything else tech exploded.
Right.
But there was also that huge Teja Types video
Mhm.
where he made this like
The alpacas.
super custom keyboard with for Tfue.
Yeah.
And that video got like 5
Oh,
million
that's
views.
right.
That
That
video was huge.
I watched that stream.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
I watched the VOD, but you know, that was crazy. I mean, everybody knows Tfue, right? I mean, I don't know much about him, but I know Tfue.
I didn't. I actually learned who he was from that video.
Really? I knew from he was coming from FaZe. I guess I was a COD boy, but like it's even if you don't know what he does necessarily, you know Tfue, right? And you're like, oh, Tfue, keyboards, luxurious keyboards, you know?
Like, whoa, this guy got a $4,000 keyboard.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
that's pretty crazy. Do you remember what it was?
Not
It wasn't a key
really.
cult, was it?
I don't think it was. I think the part was expensive was they did a custom finish on it.
Mhm.
So it was mostly a pre-baked keyboard that would have been way cheaper.
Mhm.
But you go to a shop and they do a one-off special finish on it, and that's going to
Right.
be expensive as
Yeah.
all. Yeah.
I can't remember what it looked like, but I remember seeing that VOD and I'm like, whoa, I don't know what this means, but this is pretty cool, I guess. Well, you helped because you found my Discord and we're talking about keyboards here and there. You know, I hadn't gotten into the keyboard hobby yet, but I was interested. Around this time, you can snag a GK61, right? So I was like, yeah, maybe I'll give it a shot. With some Milky Yellows, classic, right? And that was kind of where I started. Well, that was my first build, but before that, I didn't know anything. So I think, what did I do? I can't remember. I saw, what was it? Squashy Boy. I saw his video on upgrading a $50 keyboard. You know that video?
I don't think so.
It's
But I've
okay if
probably
you
seen
don't.
it.
You probably have seen it because it has like 3 million views.
All right.
Yeah, and it's just a Royal and he put the what is it? The whale keycaps or whatever,
hmm
and lube the red switches. And I was like, I can do that. So I bought a Royal didn't know what the difference between solder and hot swap was. I shot myself in the foot because I got soldered. Right? That's why I brought that up, because it sounds like a simple mistake right now. Like sounds like an obvious thing right now. Now that we know more, I had no clue. I just bought it and just assumed, yeah, I could take the switches out. And then I took a keycap out, and I was incredibly disappointed.
Yeah, back then, hot swap was like a premium feature.
It was. You
So-
have to pay like $20-$30 more.
hmm
And now it's just like, it's just hot swap. Although, yeah.
I was just gonna say, oh yeah, and now you can find $20 to $30 keyboards that are hot swapped instead of it being like a
Yeah.
premium for you to be able to have it.
You know what I did? That keyboard right behind yours. You recognize that with the pink switches or the keycaps? Or can you take a guess?
The same board, the GK61.
Close. I think it uses the same PCB, but it's that $20 special.
All right.
You know, when you linked but it was on like what, Newfie's website or whatever, their test 68, whatever that was, right? A $20 keyboard kit. What do you have to lose? You know, what do you have to lose in a $20 keyboard
What's
kit?
crazy now
Mhm.
is there's the Keychron V1, which has come out since then, which is $50.
Yes.
And is like actually a great board.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
That would make no sense to us back. Like, if you asked us like a year ago, because I haven't even done this for a year yet. I've done this for about maybe 6 or 7 months now, and already that a lot has changed since then. Even 6 or 7 months, the budget keyboard was the GK61.
Mm-hmm.
So to say that now we have things like the QK65 that you can't escape from, you know, $20 special over there, is pretty good. But I am going to do a build on a Q1, but as far as like premium builds, I don't think I've touched that. But I know you have.
Oh yeah,
I know
got some
you
with
have.
me today. I hope
Yeah,
I don't awaken something in any of you just for the sake of your wallets.
I don't know. Maybe I have to just like not touch them. Just show me it and don't let me touch them. Otherwise, we're going to have a problem.
All right.
So do you want to show us some?
Sure. I
I
don't
want
know.
to touch it.
Okay, Zach can touch it. So be careful though, Zach, because this is dangerous equipment. What do you have for us?
I've got two. Here, Zach, you want this one?
I'll take it.
It's substantially
that's the light one too. That's
Is
the Bakaneko 65.
Yeah. Bakaneko was also one of those kind of, I would say, budget boards, right? Especially around the time.
The way I built it is not budget.
Okay.
Because I think overall,
Look at him just like, look at my baby.
I'm
Oh yeah, let's see Zach.
oh wait, whoa.
oh yeah,
Whoa,
so you're gonna have to undo those Velcro straps, and then it's wrapped in.
Do you want to give me the thing, Zach?
Oh yeah.
I can be cameraman for the second.
Do you want me to move the
Oh no, it's fine. I can kind of see. It's all good. So this is the Bakaneko. Is this what color did you get?
This is white. It's
Gotcha.
all white.
All white. E-white. Oh, why isn't it yellow? Oh yeah, you showed me a picture of this.
Yeah. So this one's a gasket mount. So if you press down, yeah,
You see him just unironically pog? That's crazy. To make someone unironically pog,
That is like unreal. Hold up.
he's gonna.
yeah. So that's a no foam, but it's got tape mod, and that's about all it needs. It's
So when you say tape mod, you mean like
yeah. So I literally put painter's tape
yeah.
on the bottom of the PCB, and that's all there is. It's magic. No one knows how or why it works, but it does.
Yeah, we've seen there's videos explaining it, but it's more just like it really is just magic. But yeah.
I'm gonna put this back in its home.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna be very, very nice about it. Okay, so how much would a keyboard like this one run you?
So the keyboard standalone, you could get for about 150.
150. Yeah.
That one's got the zinc weight. There's one without the zinc weight that's a little cheaper, so closer to like 120-ish, I think. And then switches and keycaps you can really cheap out on if you want to. Those are not cheap switches or keycaps though.
So what do you have on it?
It's got alpacas,
Classic.
which I think the full set, after all the they're lubed and filmed, but just the switches themselves are gonna be like probably like $50 to cover that board. And then it's got GMK minimal on it, which
yeah,
is
all
more
I need to hear
expensive.
was GMK.
I bought that at Group Buy, but if you wanted to buy it extras cost, if it's even still available, it's going to be more expensive than the keyboard.
Sure.
So
yeah, that'll do it. That's why. So when you heard Brady mention the GMK set in the beginning, that's what he means. So for those who may not know, how would you for keycaps for GMK? How would you explain them?
they're the nicest keycaps that money can buy. Is that
objectively?
Pretty much. I don't think there's any manufacturer there's some ones that are really close, but nothing's quite come close to like Clarity of Legends or Colors. So unfortunately they are expensive and you have to wait a long time for them. So
yeah, the lead times, if you're like, you may as well just say, yeah, this is going to be like a Christmas present.
My
2
first
years.
GMK group I ever joined in June 2020 has not shipped.
Are you serious?
Not only that, they have not even begun manufacturing.
Let's go.
So you'll see it at some point.
At some point,
Yeah.
it'll show up at the doorstep.
Who knows?
Santa will deliver it.
Wait, what if your address changes?
So the vendor, I've talked to the guy actually because it's a small vendor, but he won't even ship it out until you confirm your address again since it's been so long. So I assume if that ever ships, he's going to email everybody and be like, hey, what's your address?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, a lot of times, like with these GMK sets, it is like just an individual person, kind of like it's an individual designer, right?
Yeah,
That
so
works on it.
GMK will be the manufacturer, but they didn't design the keycap set. There's some other designer that's designed it, or there's some like vendor in the hobby, like drop.com or something, and they'll actually like run the group buy, and that's where you'll buy the caps from.
Right. Not
So
bad.
I don't really know a whole lot about like brands and those types of things, but I know that those group buys can be very, very exclusive, and like, you know, there are some people who will get a set of keycaps off of group buy and then they'll sell it for like 3 times as much as they bought it for. How much were the keycaps that you bought on group buy?
So GMK minimal, I think was maybe 120, 115 at Group Buy. Delivered about a year and a half later. The same vendor, they bought extra sets so they can sell them in stock, and they sell them in stock for about 160. Not the craziest markup ever. But those sets that sell for crazy prices are like a set that no one thought was going to do well. GMK Darling is an example. That set barely skated past the minimum quantity they had to order at Group Buy. And then the keyboard hobby exploded after that ran. And so when it delivered, people were like, I'll pay $800 for that. You know, so
you know, I would pay another $100.
Funny thing, I was in the hobby when that Group Buy ran, and I was like, nah, I'm not really interested.
Oh
It's
man.
not my thing.
Oh man, if only you watched Darling in the Franks.
I know, right?
If only you knew.
So it's based off of one of the girls in Darling in the Franks, an anime. GMK Darling.
Of course.
Of course, right? So who the hell, first of all, Darling in the Franks, very popular anime until it fell off, right? So this is probably why people are like, And now everybody, how much would you see Darling out in the wild for?
I have seen it sell for $800, which it would have sold at Group Buy at about the same price as Minimal did. So we're talking like low $100 $100, 150 maybe. So
That's insane.
Not 5 times, not 6 times, not 7 times, but 8 times the price.
yeah, because it'll never get made again.
It will
So-
never.
Well, not from GMK.
Sure. Do you think the designer will ever give the rights away for it?
Novelkeys has teased that they're working on a PVT version of it that'll run in stock.
Because I know what Zoom did, or Zoom got permission from Olivia to do an Olivia set, which is another GMK set, but they have a PPT version for their Zoom 65 keyboard, right? Which I don't think you can even buy the keycap set alone. I don't think so either. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure that if Darling doesn't work out for Novelkeys, Olivia will set something up,
I'm sure, yeah.
because
Everybody loves Olivia.
that's true.
I would love an Olivia set. That
I
being
feel
said,
like outside of like streamers, she's probably the most famous keyboard person around,
yeah, probably.
or, like designer and stuff.
Yeah, all right, well then on that topic then, I know I know that you know that I'm going to bring this up at some point, so I may as well just say it. How do you feel about clones? The clone market in general.
I'm not a huge fan, obviously, because you know designers put time and effort. But the way I see it,
I suppose we should explain it maybe.
Oh yeah, so as opposed to like the standard expensive GMK ones, obviously if the set's selling for $800, who wants to pay that, right? So some other manufacturer will make something really, really close for cheap. Put it up on AliExpress or something.
Yeah, and by cheap I mean like $30.
Yeah,
$40 maybe. $40 is pretty premium. That's a premium PPT there, you know. Yeah. So then following that then, how do you feel about it?
If the set if you can get the set through like normal means, like the set's still in stock, I feel a little iffy about it, because then you're just straight up like, you know, not giving the designer money for it.
Right.
Which, I mean, they put time and effort into it, right? But if it's something like Darling where you just can't get it, sure, go for it. Right. Because I'm sure the designer probably doesn't care either, because you literally couldn't buy the set legit even if you wanted to.
Right.
And in that case, like, whatever, you know.
I know, because a lot of sets I've done have used clone keycaps. Some people have asked, Anuki, Arthur, what the fuck? And
What the actual fuck?
Respectfully,
what the shit? No, I understand, because I also feel the same way. I think that for me though, it's like I've begun to do commission keyboards, and luckily I've been be able to do quite a bit, and it's been fun, really fun. The thing is, I do them for free. I don't charge any commission fee. Bars. Because of that, I get a lot of newcomers in. So if someone comes in and say, hey, you know, I'd like to build you, I'd like for you to build me a keyboard. I like your stuff, you know. I have a budget of about $200. $250. $300.
Ooh, you can almost afford a drop control.
Exactly.
All right, we're getting premium.
You see what I'm saying? Not even 300. I've only done one. So far I have one keyboard with a $300, and this is with the Keychron Q1.
Yeah, with the GMK set.
Yeah, with the GMK set.
That'll be a nice build.
That's more than $300. We broke the budget, and he said it was okay. You know what? You know the switches, KTT Roses. on a $300 build. I mean, they're good switches, to my understanding.
Yeah, that guy knew what he was after. That's a smart build right there.
You know what I'm saying, right? And how can I justify that for someone who's just getting into the hobby then? You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that when someone comes to me and say, hey, I have like $200 before shipping, of course, because I got to ship it to them, you know, and that's like a lot of money. But like I have $200 for a build, and that's a fair build, right? If you were to build it yourself. But how in the world are you going to bring that cost down? You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's not GMK keycaps for sure.
Right.
I mean, this wasn't true a couple years ago, but there's so many in stock PPT options that are pretty cheap.
No, for sure there is. But then you bring up like Darling, right? Which it's like, hey, I saw these. I decided I am such a gamer with my cat ear headphones and my cat mouse pad and my pink and white setup.
Same.
You know what I mean? My pink and white gamer chair, my pink and white walls, my pink and white monitor that only displays pink and white.
My uwu clan tag.
I saw a GMK Darling and I need this. I'm like, okay, you got like $1,000 to spend on a keyboard. How can I say that, right? It's tough.
Yeah, and I mean, how bad would you feel spending $800 on the keycaps? of
Yeah,
a
I know,
$1,000
right?
keyboard?
When it's literally more than a really, really, really nice keyboard. It's hard, right? It's hard for me to justify it because I'm on the same boat. You should spend, you know, the extra money to get designer keycaps, right? But it's hard for me to sell that to someone who's just getting to the hobby. So I think maybe for someone's first, maybe second keyboard, and you see like that nice PBT AliExpress keycap, and you're like, that's it, right? Why not? Sure.
Yeah. Right.
But then afterwards, you have to kind of gain that responsibility of like, what am I doing? That's why I have GMK sets, right? I could have never even touched that. And to be fair, I don't really plan on buying any more sets, you know. But then you did link Frost Switched. Oh, I can't believe you would link Frost Switch to me. I can't believe you would do that.
I already bought it.
You already,
So,
I know.
yeah.
Is it still going?
Yeah, it goes for the whole month.
It's another
Don't do it.
Yeah.
But Zach, I love Amelia.
You know, I can't even talk. Like, you
I know.
guys are sitting here talking about like expensive keyboards and all that kind of stuff, and like, look at the hobbies that I have. You know,
Right,
like
right.
the hobbies that I have are arguably way more expensive than building keyboards, but also, it's like, you know, pick your poison. Pick the thing that's gonna like make you happy, and like. I understand kind of the tinkerer's mindset when it comes to like building keyboards and that kind of stuff, just because it's really satisfying to take something that, you know, sounds like shit, and then you're able to do a couple of simple things that make it so that you can improve the way that it sounds and everything like that.
I think it ends up being like reference to what that hobby is, because for the same thing, or in the same category for cameras, I could say, well, why would you buy an R6 with a lens that costs as much as my car, when I can just buy an M200 with $100 lens, right? So you could say the same thing like in that hobby, and then you could say the same idea in the keyboard hobby. You could say the same idea for the computer building hobby. You could say the same thing for stamp collecting hobby. I don't know, right? Why would you care about these super expensive stamps or something, right? These premium imported stamps that cost like $5 when these cost like 2 cents. I feel like I called the stamp collecting community out. No, you guys are fantastic. You guys should keep doing what you're doing because you guys are happy.
Yeah, you guys are way better than those dudes that are about trains. I mean, come on.
But it comes to just the reference of its own hobby. Like, why would you spend more in a hobby when you already have enough? Why would you spend more on lights, like $1,000 light, when you have a $100 light?
Right.
What's the difference? It makes light. It's very bright, right?
I have lamp.
I have a desk lamp. It's shining in my face and I can't see anymore. But
light is light.
But that's that reason. That's the same reason, right? So I feel like it's hard to compare different hobbies together, but it's easier to make that price to performance comparison within the same hobby, right? Because you can buy you can buy a jelly epoch, or you can take that roll of PE foam and put it in a GK61, right? But what's the but so if you can get that same sound, then where is that difference lie, right? The obviously quality, right? Obviously, right? This lens, well, I mean, I could throw this lens at a rock and the rock will shatter. But in general, right? If I were, well, okay, chill. That's mine.
No, I was using it.
He's like, but in general, right? Like you look at that, and then you look at that, and you look at that over there, which nobody can see, and the audio listeners are incredibly confused right now. But you say, okay, what difference do I lie when sure the focal distance is different, 50 millimeters to whatever that is, but you still get the same blurry background, right? The same idea.
It's and it's all about like the amount of money that you're willing to invest in it.
Mhm.
And also this goes up when I mess with the focus ring, and so I'm just using it as like an ADHD toy at this point.
That's okay, as long as you don't break it, because that's mine.
I know. If I break it, I'm gonna buy you another one.
Hey, and fidgeting with expensive knickknacks, that's what this is all about, right?
Yeah.
Hey.
Well said. Well said. The keyboard community motto.
Way to tie it all together. Look at us.
Mhm. Have you ever considered commissions?
Not really.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I feel like I need to build like a lot more boards before I can do that. There's some really experienced keyboard builders out there.
For sure.
So I don't know. I feel like maybe if I streamed and I had like,
Mhm.
Some viewers or something, and it was a build that I was comfortable with, yeah, I'd
Mhm.
accept that. But
Well, then have you considered streaming? Because I mean, everybody did at some point during quarantine, right?
I did actually, I did stream myself soldering together a little macro pad and playing with the firmware for a while. But yeah, it was, I don't know if it's something I'd do again.
Right.
It was fun though. I had a bunch of people file in right at the end once I got the thing working. I was like, well, I'm done. So it's nice that you're all here now.
They
but,
just skipped for the sound test, Brady.
It's a macro pad. It does not sound good.
But I mean, yeah, no, I get that. I think, I mean, I'm sure there's definitely people who do commission builds that don't stream or do videos or anything, but I know, I've seen them, they have like their eBay stores, whatever, and they build a keyboard and like, hey, this is my keyboard, and they can charge that. For me, I've done commissions and I've begun to do commissions and I got more coming in, and it's been a lot of fun. I'm really grateful because somehow I can convince the same COD community that doesn't want to spend $50 for a capture card to spend $100+ on a keyboard. How? I don't know. But I did.
So the art of the deal.
Trade offer.
Question,
Yes.
Arthur. How much was the keyboard that you and I built?
Okay,
for
so
birth?
sure. So we got some. What did we do? We got some Acco keycaps, right? Classic, which are $60. The Techwear Phantom itself, I think I bought it for like $45. And then Acco switches, right? Radiant Reds for $20 for 2 boxes. So that's under just a little over 100, right? Just shy over 100, if my calculus is correct.
120-ish?
I'd have to pull out my graphing calculator to find out though, because that's what calculus taught me, to use your graphing calculator.
That's right. That's
Mhm,
right.
mhm.
I still have my TI-89.
I do too.
I never could afford one of those.
They were like $100. I get it.
That's true. They're insane.
They were insane. I had to like, listen, mom, dad, I know the TI-86, I know, but I need this one. We're in Target. Look.
I got mine from Walmart.
Hey,
Bro, have you seen people play Doom on those calculators?
I have. I don't even know how that would work because refresh rate would be so bad, but I feel like it's more of an achievement to do rather
I mean,
than...
it's a Doom. It was made for DOS machines.
That's
so-
true. But still, I don't know. I've considered putting it on my TI-89, but I was like, I don't know. I'm not a bad kid. I want to be I want to be a good kid.
What if I need it one day? And I think one of the things that I find hilarious is that you'll have that TI-89 until your grandchildren are going through school, and you'll be like, here's my favorite graphic calculator.
Well, my
Ma."
brother uses it now, so it's his. Do I remember how to use it? Hell no. I used to be really good with it. I'm sure you as well, because we just poked and prodded at the thing, just coding our own formulas and touching I probably knew every single option in that, honestly.
Well, he's one end of the spectrum, and you'd think expensive graphing calculator, I would
No?
know how to use it really well.
Oh.
Nah.
and I'm not even, listen, I dropped out of school because I had to take 5 coding classes for my digital arts program, right? I can't code. I don't like coding. I hate coding, like with a passion. Like if someone mentions coding to me, I'm gonna go into cardiac arrest. That's a joke. Please don't do it though. But my brother, on the other hand, he loves coding, so from that, he loves that thing. But only reason why I enjoyed it is because I just like poking around at things. I press a button and see what it did, and then, oh, that's cool, and then I would just keep doing it, and then I'd look things up. And I feel like that's supposed to be the beauty of coding. Unfortunately, that didn't stick with me, but I did like my TI-89. Do I remember how to do all that stuff? Hell no. So that scares me because I'm going to go back to school in the fall, and they're going to make me take a placement test. And I am so scared because it's been 4 years since I've taken a math class.
If AP Calculus should place you now?
You would think, but it's been 4 years. I think I want to see because I sent my transcript in because I'm transferring back from WSU to Clark. I'm just gonna finish at Clark, make it life easier, life cheaper, and I transferred my thing in, and I have to. Oh, excuse me, that was gross. I had to talk. I'm going to talk with an advisor, see what I can do. Hopefully, I can leverage that. I'm going to see. I don't know. Maybe we're in the Zoom call, and he's gonna hit me with a quick question. All right, what is this? What is the summation of this? I'm like, oh shit. I don't know.
Euler's method.
Oh, no. I don't know, but we'll see. I hope so, because I mean, the math placement test can't be more than just basic algebra, right?
Well, it depends on what you're trying to test into.
I mean,
if you're trying to test into calculus, it will be calculus.
Well, right, but I'm not doing any math class. I'm going to go back for TI. IT. What a TI? IT. So hopefully I don't need to do that much extensive math for that, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm just super, super scared. I do an English one as well, because apparently my English is bad. I took honors English too, by the way, Zach.
Honors English 2.
Honors English 2. I did.
Man, I did not. Nothing happened in that class.
So,
oh man,
my grades in high school were like, okay, I don't know if you've watched the show very much or not, but I talk about a lot how I found out that I was graduating high school 3 days before graduation, and that's because the last test, or like my final in my English class, was going to decide whether I graduated or not. Somehow I graduated. I don't know.
And threw you a bone there.
Yeah, they were just like, you tried.
And that's what high school is about.
So I originally was going to school to be a music teacher. And I don't know how I thought that right out of high school, I was going to be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to take school seriously from now on. And I ended up getting placed into like a English 101 class, and then like I think it was like an algebra 95 class. I'm horrible at math. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, I did really well in my English class. I don't know. And then I went to animal medicine school, where I got to learn about the anatomy of animals and whatnot. And now I, wrestled 120-pound dogs and do that fun stuff.
The classic career route that we all do. I mean, I went for digital arts, and I'm going to tell old people how to use computers, It's kind of the classic route. What are you going for school for, by the way? I think I asked you, but
computer science. So
it all makes sense now.
Yeah, things are starting to click into place. It's
I didn't put 2 and 2 together, and also I'm really bad at math, so it's like context clues.
Couldn't have done the 2 and 2, huh? So I slandered coding, right? And I mean it. But so for you, I guess the keyboard community kind of makes it a little bit more fun when you think about coding, because I know my brother, he built a keyboard too, just a classic, just AliExpress 75% that you can find, and he likes that thing. And I feel like when you're sitting there typing away, compiling code, assuming that's what you do.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
Right.
Uh-huh.
I think what happens is that that's not like a lot of people major in that, right? Like a lot of people, and I'm sure a lot of people did major in that already, and now they used to work in this office space, And now after quarantine hit, they come home to their family laptop, and they're like, oh, you know. So I think especially for maybe I think more so the younger generation when it comes to that, they kind of see. I was thinking of getting you a coaster, but I totally I think I have one over there if you want to reach for it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Why don't you just use a lens?
Yeah. Wait, that's mine. Don't do that. Actually.
On second thought.
But they come home, and I think just naturally I mentioned before that people just want to upgrade their home setup, right? So what do? Well, they build a nice office space that's kind of just looks like a cool streamer setup, but it ends up just being this nice setup where you see all the time the YouTube desk setup videos where it's all aesthetic and stuff, and they have the cool chairs and they have the cool desks and stuff, and as soon as the camera turns off, they're like, back to coding, That's okay. And then at some point down the line, you're going to reach your keyboard, because the keyboard is the number one way you interface with your computer. So I think, this is my favorite analogy. Not everybody needs a Logitech G Pro Superlight. But everybody deserves a nice keyboard.
I was going to say, how could you say something so brave? Not everyone needs a $250 wireless gaming mouse.
How dare you?
Oh my god.
How dare you?
You're just blowing my mind.
But Brady, but Arthur, I want to be able to continue bottom fragging in Valorant with a nice mouse. Zach, I'm just kidding.
All right, fine. I guess I will just go fuck myself. They're just like, I don't understand why I hate sitting at my computer so much. I have this $250 wireless gaming mouse and then a Dell keyboard. Mm-hmm. They're like, I don't understand.
No, the Razer keyboard. That's all clicky, and they're in the Zoom call with their company. They're doing a meeting, and hey, Zach. How about you show us the work you've done? Oh yeah, sure. You're right. Or they have the Logitech M270 wireless mouse keyboard bundle. And then they're like, this needs to change.
Have you seen those keyboards that are intentionally really clicky and loud? Like just super obnoxiously loud?
Well, I know people have built keyboards like that, but I don't know about intentionally. I mean, I suppose that's the purpose of a clicky blue switch in general and a gaming keyboard. Do you mean that manufacturers unironically make a keyboard to be loud?
Yes.
Do they shift brand names every so months and shift listings every so month?
I have no idea.
They probably do, because ain't nobody buying that shit. But you do have one more keyboard.
This is true.
Do you want to show it?
You guys think we're ready for this one?
I don't know, man. So what is this one?
This is a Mr. Suit.
Mm-hmm.
This is my nicest board by far.
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot of junk in the top.
I don't think you should call it junk. Although it's foam, it's very expensive foam.
Yeah, so this one you cannot get anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So good luck, Ray. I hope no one finds this extremely attractive, What's this one?
Right.
This one's heavy, even heavier than the last one.
Let's see it, Zach.
Oh, in case camera wanted to see.
Sure.
It's pretty.
Oh yeah, that's right. I have it. It's a beaut. It's a beaut.
Yeah, this one's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And this one has the signature Owl Labs PE foam.
Oh,
so it's a bit of a different experience.
Yeah.
This is not okay.
Go ahead, give it a go. Monkey type with the boys. No. Look at him. Look at him go. He's going crazy.
I know this is not poor okay. Guy's wallet, dude. I'm sorry.
He's not gonna stop. This is it. So
yeah.
we gotta, you know what I mean?
We can just talk about something.
We can just talk about something else. So sports. Yes.
Oh yeah. So you catch so sports ball has been crazy, right, guys? So
how much? Oh yeah.
Now I see why Arthur didn't want to touch it.
I'm not going to touch it.
Press one.
No.
Press the escape key.
No. I'm not going to, Zach.
Press the escape
Zach,
key.
I have COVID on my fingertips. You don't want me to touch it.
Press the escape key.
Yeah. So what's this build? What are we looking at?
I don't know if they can see, but
That's okay.
all right, whatever. It's a Mr. Suit.
Mhm.
It's a 10 keyless keyboard. It's got Duroc palms in it. These are a linear switch. It's got a palm plate, and then it's just loaded with foam,
Yeah,
as well as the classic GMK white on black. So it's
very classic. The
Yeah.
most inoffensive keycap set of all time.
yeah. This is my classiest board.
It's very classy. You know, I think a lot about. Wait, did you ever go for the Sonnet?
I did, yeah.
You did, yeah. I was like, is he gonna bring the Sonnet? Because if you brought the Sonnet,
No, it's not shipping yet.
yeah,
so-
okay. I figured, yeah, because if you had it and you brought it, that would have been it. I would have to buy it because you know that I've been sitting on that Sonnet. I have my build code, and I'm sitting here thinking every single night, I have to tell myself no. So the Sonnet is another keyboard. It's a 75%, which has been my favorite layout recently. I thought it looked derpy. I was like, this looks stupid, you know. And then I got an ID80, and honestly, not the greatest keyboard, but it's a nice keyboard because it's just VIA compatible, and we can stick a bunch of macros on it so that it runs the show really nicely, you know. And then I was like, okay, 75 is kind of nice, honestly. I think I like it more than a TKL because I find myself not really using a lot of those. And I was like, all right, you know what? Fine. I know I really wanted the Mode 65. I was looking at that Mode 65 or sorry, the Mode 80.
Mhm.
And then I was like, I don't know. And then I looked at the Mode 65 and I was like, okay, maybe the Mode 65. I can live with the Mode 65 as my end game. You know, the classic words. But is it really an end game? It's never an end
Doesn't
game.
exist.
The end game doesn't exist. And then they dropped the Sonnet, and you drop the link, and I'm like,
Yeah, I should stop doing that. Really.
you should stop doing that. And I'm like, shoot. And the Sonnet is a nice 75%, which is made by the same people by Mode, who also do the Mode 80 and the Mode 65, which is, again, these are words that probably don't make a lot of sense to people, but just know that they are very nice boards.
Yeah, they've got this fancy website that's really cruel because you can like play around with what what the keyboard looks like, and it shows you the new renders in real time.
It's like PC Part Picker. If PC Part Picker had a render of the
Yeah,
build.
it's got a 3D render of the board as you make it.
It's nice, and you're like, oh man, I could have this right now. Well, in a couple months, but right now. Ah, shoot! And you can save your build and come back to it. It's very dangerous, Zach. Don't go on it. It's very dangerous.
Whatever you do not go to modedesigns.com/sonnet.
The sponsor card pops up. There's an affiliate link in the no.
How cool would that be? They would have sent us one if that was the case.
Oh, that would be sick. But I think because there's this YouTuber. I love this YouTuber, and he's kind of underrated, Near Lucid, and he makes a lot of really classy keyboard builds. And it's one of those where we were talking about earlier, where it's like people oftentimes are just going to kind of just go for the sound test. These, you know, when they just want a certain board, like even for the Sonnet, for example, which is super configurable. At some point, you just look up Sonnet with this plate and these foams and this mount, right? You're like, how does this sound? Give me 20 seconds. Okay, cool. This is what I want, right? So in a landscape where at that point, especially with, you know, YouTube Shorts and TikTok, with short form media being the cool thing, who's going to sit down and watch a 10-minute video, right? About a keyboard. So, but Near Lucid, oh yeah, me. But still, right? Most people maybe, not so much. But he does a really cool way of just like this really cool editing, and you know, editor guy, I love that, right? So I'm sitting here just enjoying his editing, and I shout him out, and he's a cool, really, really great content. And he made a Sonnet video, and he was like the closest to breaking that edge for me. I was like, oh God, because he has the exact same signature that I want with the carbon fiber plate and really clacky long pole switches. And I'm like, oh fuck. And it sounds like a damn spray paint can shaking it. That's what it sounds like. And that's it for me. That's what I want, right? And his exact same build, just a silver with a black keycap, something really classy. And I'm like, shit. Oh man.
And you start bargaining. You're like, well, I already have the keycap.
I do. I have the white on black. It's kind of, I'm this close. I'm this close. But I'm not going to do it.
How much is it for the people who don't know?
Oh, 4, I think, actually.
It starts at 300, but in reality, it's going to be closer to 400.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, the 65 and the 80 are 500, I think. So, ironically, it's a better it's a better deal. So
it's a great investment.
It is a great investment. But it is a really nice board. And it's kind of like, you get to that point. Like, would you consider yourself, I know we're just joking about it, would you consider yourself buying another premium board for yourself?
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
I hope not, but
Right.
probably.
But probably. But why is that? When you have a really, really nice board? Is it addiction?
Maybe. It could be pursuing different sound profiles. The suit's pretty locked into that PE foam sound. And once you have one of those boards, you really don't need another one because they all sound the same.
Right.
But I don't know. You see something cool? I've been into copper lately. So I saw this on it and I was like,
yeah,
I can do like real copper in this keyboard. That's pretty
big
cool.
boy copper backplate.
I did not do that because it was $250.
So, what did I do? I'm still waiting on that. I did enter a group buy. My first one. Woo! It's not frost switched. I'm not going to touch that, but I really want to. But I ended it like, I talk about this on it, and I keep thinking about my endgame keyboard because I love the keyboard community, but there's so many things that I do, like music and like computer building and keyboards, I suppose, but also streaming and also doing all sorts of things. And when you have a lot of hobbies, you know, it's hard to juggle them, right? And it's hard to, we talk about hobbyism a lot, you know? And at this point, you look around this studio and you see all the little things that I've been getting into, right? Cameras, music, maybe even lighting, computer building, streaming, keyboards, anime figures, Poyoyo.
Yes.
Poyoyo, right? I'm wearing the same merch that I got that from. Heck yeah. And I start to think about, shit, what am I doing? To be fair, though, I've done a good job of saving my money and managing my money. I have my parents to thank me for drilling the value of money in when I was out the womb. And I'm able to, as long as I'm careful, afford certain things. One of those, probably not. But, you know, I start to think about what hobbies that I want to keep going for. Because now that I've gotten into keyboards more, I start thinking about keyboards, I stopped playing music. I started playing music more, I stopped thinking about computer building.
Oh, so you went from keyboards to keyboards.
Yes,
That's what you're saying.
precisely.
Gotcha.
Which keyboards do you want to touch? The one that make notes or the one that makes thok? That one over there doesn't thok. Well, maybe the bass keys, but
You know, I bet you could do a keyboard with mechanical switches.
you know,
Like the music one, I bet you could do it.
that would suck if they have to be really heavy switches. But I start to think about, okay, I really need to start thinking about how I'm going to end these hobbies, right? What piano am I going to end up at? What camera am I going to end up at? What keyboard am I going to end up at, right? And I jump into a keyboard like which is funny enough, this keyboard, Kwayo, is based on the VTuber that I like, who Poyoyo is from, and this shirt is from. I'm a big fan, as you can tell. I don't know if you can tell.
Okay.
Right.
I don't know who this is, but I'm here for it.
Right, exactly. And then you get to the conversation of like, well, it's kind of merchandise almost at that point, although it is not affiliated with that VTuber or Cover Corp or HoloLive at all. It's purely coincidence that it may or may not be based on that IP, but for sure isn't, you know? For the same reason that Frostwitch is definitely not Amelia from ReZero. Definitely not at all. For sure. But I buy this expensive keyboard, right? Well, to me expensive, right? It was what, 4, I think it was 4. It's been a while.
$4? That's a good deal.
Yeah, pretty good, right?
Wow.
Yeah, you know. And it's still under production. And to be fair, you know, it's an individual usually how it goes oftentimes with a certain group buy, an individual person who creates this schematic and works with a manufacturer, him working with Mecha Store, right? And it's going to be a great build and it's going to be awesome. Is it an end game though? I spent a lot of money on it. I'm going to spend money on nice switches for it. I spend money for nice keycaps for it. But is it an end game, you know? And after I buy this keyboard, I think about that a lot. I really spent this much money on a really expensive keyboard and I don't even know if that's it, you know? And that scares me because I need to stop at some point.
Yeah, group buys as a whole are kind of outdated. Like that's closer to how they were originally. Just one guy that made a keyboard and it's like, hey, I'm going to go have this keyboard manufactured. Does anyone else want one? Because it's going to be cheaper if I ask the shop for 10 of them as opposed to one, right? So if anyone else wants it, and then, you know, some people are just like, yeah, sure, get me one too. And that's just how it started. Now it's kind of overblown because you have like huge companies also doing group buys, which doesn't make any sense.
Right. And those companies could very easily just stock up like 1,000% easy.
Yeah, and they're charging like the same price anyway.
Yeah,
so
I think, honestly, they are. So there's no point. And I think that well, for sure, maybe back then, more of it is because the community was small, right? For sure. Because it's like, I'm not going to stock up on a lot of keyboards if no one's going to buy it. Now we know people are going to buy it. For sure. If they put that thing in stock. If
Owl Labs ran this like twice, they're done.
Yeah.
So.
But I'm saying if they put that in stock.
That's the way Owl Labs does things. They don't do group buys. They do like I purchased it and had it in my hands a week later.
Oh, I got you. Okay, so
they just did like drops.
Right. Okay, that's fair. But if it was on the shelf and you can go to Target and then you see, all right, baby wipes, 25-cent bananas. Oh,
$1,000 keyboard.
$1,000 keyboard. And you're like, oh. I think my son could use that for his Fortnite.
There's like some sweaty guy in the electronics section. It's like, you know, the clicky switches really are what you're going to want for gaming. So
you can imagine, like, I honestly, okay, maybe not quite a Target, but like in a Divinity or something, right? You just buy it. It would totally sell and they would totally make their margins because the keyboard community is that big now. But we still do group buys for keycaps, for keyboards. Why do we still do that?
Great question. Who knows, really?
I know, right? Who knows? I mean, I can throw a guess if you want me to. Money. Because they make a lot of money. Because what do people love, Zach? Why do people buy Supreme?
Branding.
Yes. What's the other reason why? Why do people see a Supreme drop and go, I need this?
The logo, the Nike swoosh.
You're close, Zach. You're so close. But that is part of it, I suppose. Maybe not so much for keyboards. Although, I don't know. Hey, man, you got the Keychron? Yeah, I got the Keychron. I don't know about that. It's limited time.
Exclusivity. I mean, there is branding to some extent. Like a Key Cult sells for a lot of money because it's a Key Cult.
Right. And everybody knows. Yo, you got a Key Cult. Come on. That's pretty cool. Even the name is cool. Part of the Key Cult. But it's limited time. Like, if I don't jump on now, I'm going to miss it. And that's why I suppose group buys are still really successful. And I think as we start pushing more in-stock things, I mean, KBD fans have done it all the time. You know, their DZ, their what is their D60, D65 stuff, still expensive. KBD 67, like Mark, whatever the hell number it is now. And even their KBD 67 Lite, or even the Tiger, right? The Tiger 80. And they're really nice keyboards that are just, well, I don't know how out of stock is, but in theory, on paper, technically in stock. They're not a group buy, right? On paper. So as keyboards like that start coming into market more often, and I guess technically the Bakeneko, for that matter, however in stock that is, I think we'll reach a... Do you think the hobby will die by then?
I think it's getting smaller. It already has. You have these in-stock options, and most people that get in, that are new, find an in-stock option and they're happy with that. So the super enthusiast end of it is getting smaller, especially with the group buy model. It's just the way it is.
It is just
the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to keep getting smaller for a little while. Because, you know, it was so huge during COVID, artificially. So
it's because I know I see a lot of like keyboard YouTubers. They start to branch out. I've noticed. I've noticed this. They start to do other things. And that's in my mind as someone who's been in this area for a long time. I've seen this all the time. I see this in teams I've worked with, organizations I've worked with. They have their thing. They're doing COD. Nobody's playing COD. Well, are we still COD? No. Now we're CSGO. Now we're Valorant. Now we're this and now we're that. And then, you know,
Now
they're
we're
trying.
vlogging. Now we're Team 10.
Yes.
Now we're going to a forest.
Uh-oh. And then that happens and you're like, oh man, I've seen this cycle. You do one thing and you know, the one thing they can't keep you forever. So it scares me to think that this keyboard hobby that I haven't been as long as you. I haven't been as long as Teja for that matter, you know, or you have. I haven't been as long as you. You haven't been as long as Teja. Nobody has been as long as Tay Keyboards, right? He's like the OG. But it's gonna end. I feel like it's really close because everybody's kind of doing their own thing. I mean, keyboards are starting to sound the same. Everybody just loves the PE foam is gonna sound like PE foam. A lot of foam is gonna sound like a lot of foam. Aluminum and brass is gonna sound like aluminum and brass. Everything has their own sound profiles as soon as you start mixing switches and foams and keyboards and stuff. But yeah, as you said, there's so many in-stock options. You just grab a Q1 and you're like, all right, sounds good. I guess I'm done.
Yeah.
That's it.
We're in, we're out.
We're in.
Man, if only things were like that like
I know,
2
right?
years ago, right?
But that does scare me.
Well, the interesting thing too is thinking about the longevity of if you just want to build one keyboard, like you just want something that makes it so that you don't want to pull your hair out while you're writing an essay or something like that, you know, something comfortable. And then you do that build and then you just run with it. Like I've had the keyboard that you and I built together that you gave me for, oh gosh, almost or
About
like
half a year or so.
Yeah, like 5 months, 6 months. And I don't know. I guess I don't really feel that desire to look for something different. And so
That's awesome. Really hold on to that.
Yeah,
feeling.
yeah.
Just cling to it.
Don't touch that again. Don't do it.
but it's so pretty. But
You can have her on.
for the low price of arm and a leg and a left testicle.
Maybe a little bit more than that.
I mean, what do you need 2 testicles for if they're really worth that much? Right?
You know what I mean? We were talking about selling our eyeballs earlier.
Options here. I mean, this is a keyboard, right?
Do you need an arm?
Do you have hands?
Do you use all 5 of your fingers?
That's what I'm saying.
But yeah, just a lot of times, or at least from what I've seen, they're looking for one thing that they're just going to roll with for a while. And if you build a good keyboard, then it's going to last for a long time. And so, you know, I guess that could also be a part of it too. You know, they get what they need and then they just kind of dip to save themselves from going down the rabbit hole of a very expensive hobby and an addiction.
Do you have any other hobbies?
Yeah, a couple. I do
Kind of what?
basically everything computer, and then I play tennis too.
That's right. I was going to bring that up. You played tennis in high school. You still play
I
tennis?
still do, yeah.
Yeah, good.
I'm not better than I was, but
Well, I mean, I did track and I'm not better than I was either, you know, when you're just sitting there every single day in, day out. But so do you play on a team or club?
No, I just do. I did club stuff at my former university, but I haven't joined the tennis club at my current one.
Right.
I might. We'll see.
Well, it's fun. Sports ball.
Sports ball.
Sports ball. Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, that's about all I have. What about you, Zach? You have any questions? You have the keyboard man himself here. Trade offer.
No, I don't know. I think, I guess I just kind of wonder like what piqued your interest when it came to like building keyboards, because a lot of times from what I've seen, it's like the people who have the tinkerer's mindset, you know, like the people who build computers or, you know, all of those types of things where you're like optimizing, modifying everything like that, and then it just ends up transferring over to keyboards. So what was kind of like that thing for you? Like what pushed you into it?
Tinker's mindset, definitely a big part, I think. I was building computers and messing with stuff beforehand. I think maybe the main draw of keyboards for me is that you can make a keyboard that isn't like that's that nobody else has. Every keyboard or every PC you build is pretty much going to end up a lot like somebody else's.
No, for sure.
It might even be exactly the same down to every part.
Mm-hmm.
For like a keyboard though, you can make that like your own. Like there are very few keyboards like this anywhere. So that's part of it. It's fun to tinker with them too, for sure.
Yeah. You got the hot swap. You can just pop the switches out and change it,
That's
Very
right.
easy.
Both of these keyboards are hot swap actually.
Mm-hmm.
So
You know what I can do to that damn computer over there if I want to change something?
Unplug a bunch of shit.
Yeah, unplug a bunch of shit. I want to change the graphics card. Oh, I need another cable. Because now my 40
it's definitely easier
my,
to change out a part on
my 4090
computer.
uses 1,000 watts. So now I got to change my power supply. But to that same degree though, I like no matter what, PCs are gonna be my thing. PCs have always been my thing. I love computers. Computers were the reason why. Well, I guess laptops technically. I'm over that now because I started getting into tech specifically because I was, laptop shopping for college. And I'm getting an iPad, ironically. But then I built a computer because I'm an editor and I need all those CUDA cores in the graphics cards every now and then. So I had to think about I had to think about computers and learning all these things. And I watched all the Linus Tech Tips and all the videos. And after 2 months, I'm like, oh shoot, I know a lot about I will know way more about keyboards than I thought I should. Or computers than I thought I should. And now I'm building computers. I'm helping people build computers, and computers are like my thing. I would just like sit down and stream PC Building Simulator for hours because it's just I just love that shit. What's the problem with why am I doing commission keyboards then and not commission computers? Really fucking expensive, and for a low yield at this point, because even if for the same reason I said I did free commissions, right? Twitter.com/Anuki, you can ask me. And if I were to do the same thing with computers, how in the world would I do that?
I think part of it is putting a computer together is, funny enough, a lot easier. You can watch a 10-minute Linus Tech Tip video on how to build a computer and be pretty good to go.
Yes.
There's not a whole lot going on. All the parts are really meant to go together.
Mm-hmm.
Keyboard can be really intimidating.
Yes.
It's like, I'm sure if anyone who watched is not familiar with keyboards, they felt exactly the way I did when you guys were talking about cameras.
Right, exactly. So. Yeah, we were talking just out before we were shooting. Zach and I were just talking about, we got to change our focal, our apertures and all this and all that, saying numbers and words that don't make any sense to you. And then to some people that we're talking about keyboards, that make zero sense to you, Zach.
I'm really glad you felt the same way then that I do now, or like throughout like most of this conversation, because like I'm very surface level in the keyboard game. I guess I've only looped switches and like I've done some stuff with adult supervision, and so with camera stuff I've been shooting photos for like 4 years, almost 5 years. And I'm at the point now where it's like, I am like, I'm with cameras how Arthur is with computers. It's like that. I just kind of became the guy that people would go to when they're like, mm-hmm. Oh, I need to figure out what camera I should buy. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, all right, here we go. And like,
hey man, you can't. That's not the attitude you should be having.
No. It's interesting. It's fun. I enjoy it a lot. And it's really rewarding when you get put in situations like this podcast set that we've set up, and the part that I've had in that has been super fun. Mm-hmm. And so the exchange of knowledge is always super, super rewarding when you get to see the payoff at the end of it. Like with Arthur teaching me how to build a computer, and then, me using said computer for like 2 years, mm-hmm. and streaming with it and doing all that kind of stuff. It's been super fun. And so like, me being able to lend a hand with all of the camera equipment and all that kind of stuff and help point in the right direction has been really, really cool too.
Well, I think just teaching people. I mean, for me, you would think like, for that same reason, you and I, me, Brady, we think about keyboards and it's like things are obvious, right? The simplest questions that I always get or the first question I always ask when people ask me about keyboards, like, okay, do you want linear? Do you know that this is how I word it now. Do you know the difference between linear, tactile, and clicky? You would be so surprised at how many people don't know the difference or don't know what that means. You know, clicky maybe, but they would think that, oh, my keyboard sounds clicky, it's too loud, and they have linear switches. And I'm like, oh, well, that's not quite right. But but that sounds so base level and obvious to us because we know so much, for better or for worse. So it's fun to teach people, I think. Even when I was streaming the other night for like a couple hours, and it was me doing an editing stream. I hadn't did that in months, and editing is technically the thing I do, on paper, I guess. And I was having a lot of fun just teaching people. I mean, I'm sure if someone came up to you, they found you, and they're like, "Hey, Brady, I want hey, Rogue Potato, you know, I love you in your Mr. Suit video." What kind of build would you recommend? What kind of comments do you get on that video, by the way? And your Mr. Suit video that has thousands of views that I wish I could imagine that I can get in my 7 years of doing YouTube.
It was mostly just build questions.
Right.
People asking about things that are in the description. I don't think there were many like keyboard newcomers that left a comment. I didn't get much stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Did you reply to any comments?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Just like yeah, I guess in a Mr. Suit, probably not a lot of newcomers, but what about in your Bakeneko?
More of the same.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just I feel like maybe newcomers are filtering to the more to the larger channels.
Perhaps, yeah. That's true, I suppose. But at some point, someone's gonna be like, "Man, I want a Bakeneko," and then they see Rogue Potato, and then they're like, "That's cool." And then they're gonna ask the dumb questions. Have you ever got asked dumb questions about keyboards?
I don't think so. Not really, no.
Yeah.
I mean, keyboards themselves are dumb, so it's kind of hard to ask a dumb question about keyboards.
That's fair. You know, you raise a valid point.
It's not quite like cameras or computers where it's like, oh, this lens like produces a different look, or it's like a different thing. All keyboards function.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like,
I guess
I'm gonna put a plate in this keyboard and I'm gonna be able to type faster. You know, I'm gonna get more performance out of it.
I don't know, man. You get that IRC layout. I don't know, man. Type in. My wrists don't hurt anymore. You know, I'm using a wrist brace now.
No way.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 22.
Oh man.
It's right there. I put on if I'm doing keyboard things, I put on a wrist brace, and I feel like an old man because this is not okay. But that goes with that's part of the package, I suppose. Early onset arthritis comes in the name. All right, well that's all I have. What's the vibe, Zach?
I don't know, man. We're as far as time goes, like we're pretty far along, like hour 15-ish.
What do you have coming up? What are you? Because you said you're gonna graduate. Do you have any plans after graduation?
I
mean, I know that's a loaded question, but you know,
get a job, really.
Yeah. Do you think you're gonna still do keyboards?
I don't know. It depends on how busy I am. The busier I am, the less money I spend.
Sure.
So, like, in order to like do stuff like buying keyboards, I gotta have a fair amount of free time.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, because it's hard to find them, I suppose.
No, you're not wrong. Would you replace it with tennis?
Maybe. I hope so. I should spend more time outside, really.
I think we all should spend more time outside.
If this conversation hasn't, revealed that already.
3 nerds in a room together. Yeah. No, I get that. I'm the same way as well. I played basketball the other day and I was dying. I was like, this is not me. This is not how I once was, but I feel that.
You're like, I feel like I need to assess some life choices I've made.
I mean, I have the wrist brace. I wore a belt. One of those things. Those what do you call it? I guess it's just a belt. A gut brace, if you will.
Oh, I was picturing like the championship belt, like
you
won a boxing tournament or something.
Not quite. Not as cool. More lame.
You're like, I have a champion belt because I have the worst back.
My spine hurts. Yes. But yeah, that's all. Where can they find you? Do you have anything that they can find you at? Anything public?
No, nothing really. There's my YouTube channel, which is just under Brady, that I have the keyboard sound tests on. But
all right, Instagram,
watch them if you're interested.
Instagram, Twitter.
No, not really.
No, not really. All right, well that's that. Well, you can find us, me and Zach, in the description. Our YouTube, or not your Instagram, not my Instagram, Twitters and stuff. And thank you for coming on, Brady. I appreciate it. Appreciate spending your time now that you just kind of happened to be here. I appreciate you reaching out.
Yep. So they flew me out first class private jet.
That's how it goes. So if anybody else wants, no, please don't.
Please don't.
Be
We
sure
can't
to send
afford
them
that.
lots of DMs asking to be flown out. It's free.
We,
So.
we do have a business email. No. But yeah,
I forgot about that.
Hey, well, I did change it to my business email now though, because I nobody cares. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys whenever we have another guest, maybe. That'd be sick. Yeah. All right. Bye, everybody. Let's wave to the camera, Brady.
I'm waving.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.